Hi, everyone. Welcome into the live workshop. Today, we're going to be covering a totally new topic. I've never talked about this before. We are talking about VIP days. Essentially, it's how to design an entire brand in one day. But we're also going to talk more about, like, conceptually, what is a VIP day? Are they right for you? Are they right for your clients? And how do you actually get everything done in a single day? It's going to be really fun. I love VIP days. If you've never done one before, like, they can be really fun. In the chat, okay, I know some of you have already told us, but where are we calling from? I remember seeing Dallas, um, Metro DC area, Asheville, Florida. I can't say Florida without thinking of the Taylor Swift song. Mexico, Delaware, Alabama, Chicago, Atlanta, Sam's house. Yes, on that note, you're going to see Chris in the chat. He's my husband, and he is also the developer of all of our tools. So we work together for the Color Palette Studio. He's going to be running the chat. He's going to be answering questions. That way I can focus on the workshop. Matt is in Wisconsin, Curacao, Slovenia. Oh my goodness, Germany. Okay, so we're calling from all over. It's morning for me, but it's afternoon for some of you. This is just so cool. It always blows my mind that you're staying up late or waking up really, really early to attend these workshops. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Sam. If this is your first workshop, I'm a graphic designer and color palette expert based in Nashville, and I make tools and resources to help brands create perfect color palettes. Now, something that's really important to me with all the tools that we create is that they help you do your jobs better and that they save you time. Time saving is like really at the root of everything that we create. We want you to be able to do more and take your creativity further without spending too much time like doing things that you don't need to be doing, because we all know that there are things that you just don't need to be doing as a designer that have to get done. If you're in this workshop and you're like, oh, is this for me? Is this not for me? This is for graphic designers, brand designers, web designers, and it's also for business owners or brand managers. So whether you're thinking of offering VIP days for your clients, or you just are here to want to learn how to like design a brand in a day for yourself, you are absolutely welcome here. You are going to get a lot of great info. And I'm curious, type of one, if you're like a designer, and type of two, if you're like a business owner who's here to learn how to design their brand in a day. Okay. One, two. So we got a good mix here. Okay, this is great. One and a half. I know it's such a tricky question because a lot of designers are also business owners. So when I say designers, I more so mean like someone who's either a business owner or working for someone else who is designing for other brands. But this is great. It seems like we lean a little bit more towards designers, but we have a good mix here. This just question comes up in every workshop, so it will absolutely be recorded, and I'll send out the slides later. I'm also going to send out a ton of resources, so don't feel like you have to save all the links. Like, we have a list of links that are going via email out later today. Okay, and before we dive in, we're going to have a quick chat because I was feeling a bit self-conscious about hosting this workshop because I have a lot of feelings about this topic. I feel like it's an important one to talk about, and I just want to cover it with like grace and on the front end, make it clear that what I'm teaching you is not the only way to do things, but it is a viable way to do things. And I also want to share a little bit more about why I was inspired to teach this workshop. Honestly, last week was really weird. And I think there's just this giant elephant in the room right now of the economy is really weird. We don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks. Client budgets seem to be changing a bit. I polled our Instagram audience and asked, like, if you're a designer working on client projects, are you seeing more like smaller budgets, fewer projects, or are things like booming for you right now? And I was a little bummed to see that the vast majority of responses leaned more towards smaller budgets. Clients are not having the same projects or budgets that they used to. And I, a few years ago, experienced something really similar. And what got me through it was VIP days. And so that's why I wanted to teach this workshop. We put this together in like 10 days. And I thought, if there's anything that we can do to show people that There are resources, there are things that they can do to adapt when economic times feel a little uncertain. VIP days might be the great option here. So that's sort of what I'm sharing here today. I'm going to show you how to create a great, ready to use brand in one day. This is a process that I've done dozens of times with my clients. I've done it for myself. If you can believe it, the Color Palette Studio brand was done in one day. And I haven't changed it. I did it one day 2 summers ago, and I haven't changed it. So it's entirely possible. This style of brand design is not for every brand or not for every designer. So some brands are going to have more complex needs, or some designers are just not going to vibe with this style. That's okay. This style, VIP days, is amazing for brands that are ready to get their branding launched like ASAP. It's also great for brands that are ready to commit to a simple strategy that works or gets them to the next phase. And it's amazing for early phase brands. So if you're in your first 1 to 2 years of business, or if you want a little mini brand refresh, a VIP day built brand is great. It's not a good fit for brands that want a really intricate custom mascot or illustration or graphic in their logo. And it's also not super great for a brand that maybe wants to have the most clever or complex branding ever created. So I think as designers, we've all had clients like this where they're like, I want to be the next, I don't know, my mind is blanking right now, but I want to have the most clever logo ever. I want to have the logo that's going to last 100 years, be the Coca-Cola logo or something. And you could probably create that in a VIP day, honestly, but this is just not for the brands that want the most custom thing. If someone wants a Tony the Tiger style logo, I probably wouldn't do that in a VIP day. That's a lot of research and complexity. So my big juicy disclaimer that I want to cover on the front end is that not every business needs a super complicated, cheeky, or overthought brand. Sometimes a brand really just needs the essentials to get launched. And I firmly believe that you can create very high quality essentials in a single day. It's possible. I've done it for my clients before. Years later, they still have their same branding that we created, and their businesses are growing. I found it for myself. I made my entire brand in a day. My business has done just fine. So I don't think that time spent designing always equates to success of the business. Does this make sense? Type a 1 in the chat if you are understanding kind of what I'm putting down here. Are we getting this? Okay, great. Great, great, great. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page, because there are so many ways to do things, and I don't want to disrespect longer processes or other processes. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover what is a VIP day, how to prepare yourself or your clients. Now, if you're a business owner in here and you're like, oh, well, I don't have clients, just think of yourself as kind of doing both roles. You're the designer and the client. We're going to talk about scheduling and pacing. This was actually the biggest meat and potatoes of this presentation, was how to pace out a day, because it sounds like a lot to do in one single day. How to package up your assets, and how to price, sell, and or upsell your bonus days. So how to turn a 1-day project into a 3 or 4-day project. And I'm also going to show you tools that save time. Now, I'm going to show you a lot of tools that we've created. I'm going to show you tools that other people have created. I don't want you to feel like you have to get any of our tools to get value out of this workshop, because you absolutely don't. But our tools will save time and make the process feel a little bit easier. So I am going to show you how that works, but don't feel any pressure. Okay. So yes, Sophia, I'm going to cover that. How to explain it to clients compared to a full service. We're definitely going to cover that. So what is a VIP day? And before we get in here, I'm realizing I should have included a slide asking if anyone here has ever offered a VIP day. So type me if you have ever offered a VIP day to clients. Okay, so we've got some experience with VIP days. Great. That makes me really happy. Okay, this is great. So we do have some experience. This is great. So a VIP day is an intensive session with a professional designer to fulfill a deliverable in a fixed amount of time. So there are two main phrases in here. It's an intensive session for a fixed amount of time, and it has a main deliverable. We're going to break all this down, but essentially, if you've never offered one of these before, it's like we set aside a fixed amount of time and we say, this is the to-do list that we're going to accomplish in this amount of time in the order of the to-do list. I mean, I do that with my home all the time. Like when we have a chore day, we're like, okay, we don't want to be, Chris and I don't love doing chores. And it shows. So we'll usually like pick a random Saturday and pick like, we'll do a 3-hour sprint and we'll say, okay, we're going to get all these things done on the list in 3 hours. We're going to put the most important stuff up top. And if we don't get to it, then we don't get to it. It wasn't the most important. But that's the way that my brain really likes to work. So that's how we do a lot of stuff. Now, VIP days are also known as sprints or intensives or day rates. So you can call it whatever you want. You might have seen something similar. Other industries offer VIP days too. So like copywriters offer VIP days. I know a lot of copywriters like to work in this style. Web designers too. But I'm just going to teach the brand design side. Now, how are VIP days different than other types of projects? Great question. I would love to tell you. There are 2 types of projects when it comes to being a brand designer. You can work in VIP days, or you can work in what I would call like long-term projects. Now, long-term projects doesn't mean like it goes on forever. It's just sort of what I'm calling projects that are more of like a project-based. They have like a project-based motive, and they're less about like the time. So it's like, okay, we're going to design your logo, and the typical time might be like 4 to 8 weeks or something like that. And I'm actually curious in the chat, if you design brands, so like doing logos, color palettes, fonts, brand guidelines, how much time do those typically take you? Like, how much time do you budget in your client proposals to get a full brand project done? I probably should have asked this in the beginning. Okay, 1 month, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 to 3 hours. Okay, I love that. 1 to 2 months, including client feedback and revisions, about a month, 2 to 6 weeks, a month, but I'm a beginner. Honestly, it took me about a month for most of my beginning projects. I'm seeing a lot of like 3 weeks in here. Okay, this is really, really good to know. So 3 to 4 weeks seems to be the sweet spot that I'm seeing a lot of your comments. And I follow a lot of you on Instagram, and I've seen your work. Like, it's exquisite work. 4 to 8 months. All right, so it's clear that we're spending a lot of time on these projects. And when you're spending more than a day or 2 on a project, I would classify that as more of a long-term project. So let's talk about the differences between VIP days and long-term projects. VIP days, when it comes to time, are very condensed. You usually sell your services in sessions, so like 8 hours or 4 hours. And for long-term projects, it can be really extended. It can take weeks or months. And a lot of folks are talking about revisions. Those can add extra time too. Another main difference comes from client engagement. So with VIP days, a huge perk that I found is that you get real-time feedback directly from the person that you're working with. With long-term projects, it tends to be spread out over weeks or months. And depending on the project, it can include many, many revisions. And what I personally found was it would be really common for clients to like show their mom or their sister or someone who maybe wasn't their target market, the work that we were doing, and then get their feedback on it and then come back to me with that feedback. And what I was really more interested in is like, how do your clients feel about it? What does your target demo think of this concept? And I think VIP days give you a stronger connection to that. Scope and deliverables. With VIP days, you really just make like a very clear to-do list of what you want to get done. And with long-term projects, they can be a little bit more expansive, and they can definitely lead to scope creep. I've never had a problem with scope creep with VIP days, but I have definitely felt it with long-term projects, and it didn't feel good to me. Yeah, I just couldn't like handle that. Pricing, VIP days tend to be less expensive, like way less expensive, usually way more affordable to the client. And for long-term projects, these are usually more of an expensive, high-value service. So here is why clients love VIP days. Clients usually love them because it's a really fast turnaround and it's a way for them to access a designer that they admire based on like their design style or how they work or what their portfolio looks like. They get high touch, personalized focused with a design professional. So they get a one-on-one service. It's still absolutely a high value one-on-one service. And they have a clear timeline with minimal waiting in line. I found that with long-term projects, I would have to sort of like stagger out my projects in a way where I would have to tell clients, okay, I can get you in. We're going to, like, our opening is in about 6 weeks, we're going to start. And then by the time we're done, if we're taking 3 or 4 weeks to finish this project, you're going to have your stuff in about 10 weeks. That's a long time away. A lot can happen. I mean, think of when 10 weeks ago was. That was what, like Christmas? My brain's not super awake yet, but I mean, like, that was a long time ago. So a lot can happen in a 10-week period. That 10 weeks is not Christmas. That is very wrong. But let's pretend. Let's pretend that number is right. Here's why designers love VIP days. Designers love them because they allow for premium pricing and a more predictable schedule. They also limit scope creep by confining work to a single day or a set time frame. So like you can literally just open your energy at the start of the VIP day and then kind of close your energy. Not to be too woo, but like you're not carrying this project with you for too long. You can start it and end it within a set time frame, and that feels so good. If you've never experienced that and you felt like the weight of long-term client projects following you around, I could not recommend a VIP day more. And it simplifies the process. All the work and the payment is focused into a very short time slot. So it's just like all handled really quickly. I have done both. And here are my honest thoughts. I'm not going to go through all this because I want to save time and get through all of this, but I made way more money doing VIP days than I ever did with long-term projects. My time was fixed. I was able to start projects sooner. The biggest value add that I had from VIP days was that I could tell a client, like if we were talking today on a Thursday, I could say, yeah, I could get you in next week and I could start your project. And they would be so excited because maybe like I'm impatient, so I attracted impatient clients, but they were like, yes, I have a problem. I need this problem solved. And if you can solve it for me next week, I will be so happy. And I wasn't upcharging them to solve it more quickly. Like I was just getting them in because that's what my schedule allowed. It was great. No scope creep. They fit my design pace really well. And it just felt like such a win-win for me and my clients. So here are some signs that you might love offering VIP days if you haven't, or if you've just kind of like dabbled. If your clients are looking for a lower ticket design service, and this year might be a really weird one. So if it gets to the point where client budgets are a little bit more tight and you need something to offer that still accesses your magic or your design services, VIP days might be great. If your clients are looking for faster turnaround times, I don't know any clients that are like, I'd rather wait 6 months. Like usually they want to get going, they want to get cracking because brand design is something that's standing in the way of something else that they want to do. Like maybe they want to launch a course or maybe they want to launch a new product. They want really good branding behind that. And so if you can get them in and get that part done, they're usually really excited. And if you have a signature service that you can offer in a fixed amount of time, like email setup or web design, you might like these as well. Okay, so there are two very important components of a VIP design day. There's the deliverable menu, also known as like the to-do list, and then there's the fixed amount of time. Your deliverable menu is a menu of deliverables that a client can expect from a VIP day, like a reasonable list. Essentially, this is a to-do list. You can call it a to-do list. I like to keep my language super simple with my clients. But I will say to you, it is critical to define on the front end of your project what that to-do list is, because it sets the expectation for you and your client. I don't like to say, I'm just going to create an entire brand for you in one day. I like to say like specifically the parts that I'm going to create in the order that I'm going to create them in. And I like my clients to actually take the list that I come up with and then order it in what is most important to them. There's always a chance, and I communicate this, that we won't be able to get to everything in a single day. So I try to be very, very clear about which items are most important to them. Now with VIP design days, it tends to be like logo, color palette, fonts, brand guidelines. That's like usually the top four. Yes, I do a contract, and I am going to show you exactly what I put in the contract because it's very important. Now, my pro tip for you here is to set realistic goals. You know yourself, you know your pace, and you can kind of get some practice in too. And I wasn't planning on saying this, but if you are kind of just getting started with VIP days, I don't think that there's any harm in selling one single day, but budgeting for yourself like a day and a half of work just to see what you can get done in a day and a half, because you can always speed up your process. And the client doesn't need to know that you're adding in just a few extra hours, like on the front or the back end. But I think that if you're just like wanting to test to see how quickly you can get everything done, maybe like budget one full day and then a half day the next day just for yourself to finish things up. And then like you'll get to a point where you know exactly what you can get done in a single day. So like I don't want this process to make you feel like, oh, I'm on this tight deadline, and if I don't get everything done in 8 hours, then I failed, or the client's going to be mad. Like sometimes the client doesn't need to know that you wrapped things up a few hours later the next day. I try not to do that long term because that's like encroaching on the boundaries that I set for VIP days. But if you're just getting started, that's totally okay. That's what I did when I started. Like I would sell one day, but actually budget 2 days. And then I found ways to shave off time to where I was only selling one day and doing one day of work. I hope that was clear. Okay. So here's like an example VIP day. This is what I'm going to teach you how to do today. You can do logo development. You can do custom color palettes, font pairings, brand guidelines and usage rules, and sometimes even come up with some patterns or graphics. So this is how I would like phrase the VIP day in a client presentation. And I would put like patterns and graphics or email signatures, like those kind of bells and whistles at the end, because I'm going to work from top to bottom on the list. Now pricing. Pricing your VIP day is usually very simple. The two factors are how much time are you going to spend on the project? I tend to work in 4 to 8 hour increments. I don't like selling like hours individually. Like I don't like being like 6.5 hours because that's just not how my brain works anymore. And I like to also judge how much am I going to charge for each increment of time. So a half day or a full day. Now, there is value in VIP days. And even though you're getting things done more quickly, that doesn't mean that you're not offering something uniquely valuable. So you can position the VIP day as a premium white glove experience. Like they are getting direct access to a designer. And if you have testimonials from past clients, you can leverage those to justify your rate. So if you have collected testimonials from past clients on your work, or if you have a portfolio of work, you can use that to show them like, hey, this is some stuff that I can create. Now, the price calculator is so simple. You literally, to find your VIP rate, VIP day rate, there's some pregnancy brain here. You want to take your hourly rate times the number of hours. If you don't have an hourly rate, that's totally fine. You can come up with one, or you can like go down some Reddit rabbit holes of like what typical designers are charging. But let's say pretend that it's $375 an hour and you're doing an 8-hour VIP day. Then your VIP day rate is $3,000, which means that for one day of your work, you can charge $3,000. That's totally possible. That's actually a really great rate to be able to walk away with a full brand, especially when you consider that like a full brand identity might be much more expensive. If you're comfortable with it, I really hope I don't regret doing this, but if you're comfortable in the chat, like share how much you would charge for a full brand identity, whether you do them in a VIP day or in like a long-term projects. Like when I was doing them, I would charge like 9 to 12,000 because it took so much time. 5,000. Okay, yeah. So if you're doing a VIP day rate, it can be a lot lower. My VIP day rate, I don't do them as much anymore because I'm more focused on making tools. But when I was doing them, my rates were just so simple. I didn't have to come up with custom quotes all the time. My half day rate was 2,200 and my full day rate was 4,000. Simple and easy. I never had to question it. I never had to be like, oh, I want to take into this account or this into account for this client. Like I would just say, if you want a full day of my work, it's $4,000. And if you want a half day, it's $2,200. Now, I would charge a little more for half days than just like exactly half of my full day, only because there was a little bit of task switching. And these days would take up some of my energy in a way. So if I was like doing the first half day of my day as a VIP day, it's a little bit extra of my energy for that day. So I priced it this way, but you can price it however it feels comfortable to you. And my goal was to offer one VIP day per week, leading to about 16K of sales per month. Now, if you're doing $3,000 for a full day and you can get one a week, then that's 12K a month and you're working one day a week. It's like a very amazing system. And it sounds so simple and it sounds so theoretical, but like I promise I've done this. And it was when my one-on-one design service business was its most profitable, is when I was just scheduling a VIP day every week. It was so good. My marketing to get to those once a week was literally just sharing my portfolio, like doing everything else that I had been doing as a designer. So posting on social media, sharing my work. And then when clients came to me and they were like, how can I hire you? I didn't give them the option of long-term projects. I just said, I offer VIP days. I work in VIP days. Here's my system. Here's what I can realistically get done in a day. Do you want one full day? Do you want a day and a half? And like, I would give them like the segues really well into this slide, because I would say, my rate for a half a day is this much. Here's what you can realistically expect me to get done in a half day. My rate for a full day is this. My rate for 2 full days is this. And I would be like, I could get you in next Thursday and Friday. And if you want 2 days, we can get your entire brand done and I can design your website homepage in 2 days. And then by this time next week, you will have a full brand and a website homepage. And that converted so well. Like I can't begin to describe how excited they were to just get something fast. Okay. So now we're going to talk about how to prep for VIP days. So we're going to talk about onboarding clients, how to get them to commit. We're going to talk about getting necessary info. This is so important. And my favorite softwares. With a VIP day, you want to decide whether or not you want to collect a deposit, like 50% or so, or a full payment in order to book. You also want to make sure that you create an invoice and contract for the client. Just because these feel a little bit more casual and spur of the moment does not mean you should not be covering yourself with a contract. Contracts are kindness. I could go down a rabbit hole there, but contracts are so important. And be sure to communicate that booking the project is the way to secure the date that they've selected. This really helped me close in a way that I was unprepared for. I would tell them like, hey, I can do this VIP day next week for you, but you need to make a decision by the end of today so that I can lock that in for you. And I can think of like 2 instances where that didn't work, but usually they would book it. They'd be like, yeah, I want that date next week. Okay, so here are some of my favorite tools and softwares for this phase. You're gonna need to have a CRM of some kind. A CRM is client relationship management software. I'm not going to go through all this, but essentially, like one good system can help you collect forms to, or have forms where people can like apply for your VIP days. It can track where they are in the process. It can send and help them sign their contracts. It can collect deposits and send invoices. If you don't have a CRM, they're amazing. Here are my 2 favorites, Honeybook and Dubsado. I'm curious because we have a lot of designers in here. What's your favorite CRM? Are you more Honeybook? Moxie. Okay, I have not used Moxie. I was a Honeybook girly. I mean, I still am, I guess. I still use that for some of my projects. Honeybook. But yeah, these 2 are like really popular for designers, but it looks like Moxie's another one. Pipedrive. Oh, I've used Pipedrive for another business. It's really good. Okay. You want to create your contract. Now you can totally screenshot this, because I would, if I was watching this workshop, I would screenshot this slide, but I'm also going to send these out later. So don't feel like pressure. But there are some service agreement terms that you absolutely want to include in any sort of one-on-one service contract, but especially VIP days. Here are some things that you definitely want to include. I include a disclaimer about the nature of VIP days. Like I literally say in my contract, I'm going to do my very best to get everything done. And also, I want to maintain a really good, healthy relationship with this client. But there's a possibility that like we can't get everything done. Like if the client is slow on responding, or if they aren't giving me feedback within 30 minutes, which is something I require, then like that's going to slow down my process and make it so that I can't get everything done. Who owns the intellectual property after the VIP day is over? Terms and termination, like all this is so, so important. Now my friend and my lawyer, Maria, has these like Mad Lib style contract templates for coaches, experts, things like that. I use her templates for everything. Chris, can you drop the link in for the legal templates? I have no affiliate relationship. I'm not getting paid or anything. I just really love these templates. And I think that she's making one for VIP days. So if you sign up for the wait list, there should be like a VIP day specific one coming. So that is like a great way to not have like a ChatGPT generated contract template that might not actually cover everything you need. Maria's contracts have saved me so many times. Okay. You also will want to think about using an online scheduler. I can keep this so simple. Like Google Calendar is great if you and your client have already decided on a VIP day and you just want to be like, next Tuesday, great, let's just do that. Or if you need them to like pick a day, you can use like Calendly or Acuity. If you want them to set up an intake form, you can do something like Canva whiteboards, which I'm going to show you because I think it's really like an underdog. Notion or Google Docs. You want to find a way to collect homework from the client and get their information that you need. And while we're on that topic, client homework is so important. This is the secret ingredient to a successful VIP day. Getting the client to give you as much info as possible before the day is what will like save you so much time. Now, I have a client homework template that I'm going to be sending out to you. I'll give you a little preview of how it works, but it's an editable Canva whiteboard template that you can send to your clients to collect all the necessary info that you need before you actually start designing. And I'm going to give you a sneak peek as to how it looks because it's super cool. So this is a template that I'm going to send out, but you can fully customize like the fonts, the colors, so you can make it match your branding if you want. And one of my favorite tricks is to just update the font and then click change all, and it'll change it in all instances. And then like, I mean, in just a few minutes, we can make this look totally different. So like if I want this to be, I don't know, more purple or something. But I love this to just give a totally different vibe to your clients. But there are spots where you can drop in. I don't have a mic stand, so I have to hold my mic in a really awkward way. You can drop in an intro video. So I like to include these for my clients. I make them like a 3 to 5 minute video of like, here's how this VIP day is going to work. Here's what I need from you. Here's how to put information into this Canva whiteboard. I put the actual VIP details in here. I'll link in the Zoom too. And then I will either make a playlist for them or ask them to drop in a playlist. This is one of my favorite tricks to personalize a project because I'll tell them if you have a playlist that feels like your brand, I will listen to it while I work on your project. And it's just like a really fun way to connect to the vibe that they're going for. So, so important. And then I have this whiteboard with all of these things that they can fill in, and it's super easy. Like they literally just type in whatever their issue is. So like skincare for the modern millennial. I'm definitely gonna there was like a 90% chance I was gonna misspell millennial there. But they can just fill this out. I've used Notion, I've used Google Forms. I think they're both great. I think Google Forms can feel a little like not as pretty to me. I don't know a better word for it. They're just not as pretty. And I think Notion can be a little intimidating for clients. But Canva whiteboards, like all they have to do is type in their stuff. They don't need to have any sort of fancy like accounts or anything. So I think this is a really good way to use Canva whiteboards. Now I have things spread out into like about your business, about your audience, your brand personality, your competitors, and then they can drop in like a whole inspo board here. So like if they have a Pinterest board that they really like, they can literally just paste it in Where did that paste? There we go. And they can paste in their Pinterest board, and then I can just click it and open it up and view more information about it. So I think that's really cool. I show them how to do that in the video. Yeah, there's just a lot of good information here. If they have like a Dropbox folder or something with all their current logos or things, they can just drop that in here. I try to utilize like Canva's built-in, um, what do we call it? Like integrations, things that they work really well with, like Pinterest or Dropbox, and just let it be easy for the clients. And then I also have them put their to-do list here. So their must-haves and their nice-to-haves all go in here. And then, oh, this is so important. I put logistics and feedback. So I say like, okay, what's the best way to contact you? Should we be on chat? Should I text you? I found texting works great for VIP days, but if you want to have boundaries, totally understand. Just make sure that you have a way that you can contact them really quickly. Make sure you know who the sign-off person is, and make sure that you ask them if there are any times they are unable to give feedback. My rule for VIP days is they have to be available within 30 minutes of me contacting them to give me feedback. That helps me know that I can move forward with the direction we're going in. And so if I know that their kid pickup from school is like from 2 to 3 p.m., then I know that I need to catch them by 1 p.m. to get some sort of feedback before they have to leave to go pick up their kid from school. It's just like real life is a totally true thing. I think it's unrealistic to expect a client to be fully available for 8 hours and have no interruptions. So like, I just want to know what those interruptions are on the front end. I hope that's clear. The more info a client can give you, the more efficient you can be during a VIP day. And I literally tell my clients that. I say like, help me help you. I want to help you. I want to do a good job for you. Okay. So now we're going to talk about scheduling and pacing, which is ironic because I feel like I'm behind. So I'm going to pick it up a bit. So you might be thinking, okay, I'm seeing some notes about my inbox over here. I don't use the Mail app. I use like Gmail on my browser, but the Mail app collects all the junk mail for all my inboxes, and I just don't use it. I don't check it. So that number does not bother me. That should tell you so much about like who I am as a person that just doesn't faze me. But yeah, my inbox number is always going to be really alarmingly high. You might be thinking, but Sam, how is it possible to design an entire brand in one single day? You have to resist the urge to overthink, and you have to lean on tools and templates to get your work done much faster. So you have to be okay with like this not being the most complicated, complex project that you do. And that's okay. That's probably better for the client anyway. So here's what can realistically get done in one day. Like I said, I've done this so many times. I promise it's possible. You can make a wordmark logo, a favicon, a color palette, font pairings, brand guidelines, and patterns and graphics in one day. I do this series called Brand in a Box, where I make like an entire brand and share it to my email list. Those take me 2 hours. Like I do most of this in a 2-hour period, and that even comes with a website design. So these do not have to take super, super long. I want to say note though, I just don't have time in this 1-hour workshop to show you how I do every single one of these tasks in a VIP day. That would almost be like an 8-hour workshop to show you exactly how I like make my logos, make my color palettes. I'm going to give you the brief overview, but I do have all of this info in free workshops that you can watch at your own pace. So if you want to learn how to like specifically make a logo in 1 hour, I have workshops for all of these. I have a workshop for making brand guidelines in 1 hour, for making a color palette in 1 hour, for choosing font pairings, for visualizing your fonts and colors on website mockups and how to do that. And Chris can drop the link into our workshops page and you can sign up for all of those. These free workshops are like resources for you. That's all that they're intended to be. And you can pick like which ones you want to like sharpen your skills in. Okay, so now we're going to talk about setting expectations. VIP days really only work if you create a rough schedule and you stick to it. I like to take my to-do list and break it up into hours of the day. Now, this is totally rough, and sometimes things get done a little bit more quickly. So I tell my clients, like, this is my rough schedule, but this helps me keep on track. The first hour of the day, I do a strategy and kickoff call with the client. And then I make my mood board and design, or make sure I know what design style or vibe we're going for. Then in hour 3, I make a logo in favicon. In hour 4, I choose the color palette and font pairings. Then I turn everything into mockups and I show the client, like, hey, here's the direction I think we're going to go in. And then that's where the day kind of shifts into one or two directions. If they love it, then I keep going and I make them more stuff and I start putting everything into brand guidelines. If they have any revisions or requests, then we go kind of go down another avenue and I have them like stay on the call and we work together. So I'm going to go through things hour by hour and show you what I do and how I do it. I'm not spending 8 hours with them on the call. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. I split this up so that I have like a kickoff call with them and then I have check-in calls with them. I tell them if you want to be on the call and watch me work, like that's totally fine. That doesn't bother me. But it might not be good for you. Like if you don't want someone over your shoulder watching you. I've never had a client want to stay on the call the whole time because they usually have better things that they want to be doing too. But I like to schedule a kickoff call at the start of the day. I think that's super important. So during this strategy and kickoff call, I will review their brand brief or any mood boards or like the homework that they created for me. I'll review that with them and make sure that I fully understand the direction they want to go in. I will sort of start to think about the creative direction and vibes that we might want to pursue, and I'll review the day's to-do list. Now, I'm going to call myself out because I tend to not start VIP days like the day or two before. Like I don't think about it until the day of, but I will usually give myself 1 hour before the kickoff call to like look at their homework and start to kind of brainstorm, because I find that if I show up to the strategy call with like a vibe or direction that I can pitch them, it just feels a little easier. So I give myself like 30 to 60 minutes ahead of the VIP day to just kind of review their homework and think about the project. You don't have to do that. You're not charging them for that, but I like to do it. And then after that, I will go in to my little work hole and I will create a mood board and kind of pick a design style for the project. Now, you can choose a pre-made design style or you can create a custom mood board. And you can do a quick check-in with the client to make sure they're aligned with the style. So usually at the kickoff call, I say, okay, I'm going to be pinging you in like 45 minutes to an hour with some mood boards or some Pinterest boards, so that we can make sure that we're aligned. Because like in the beginning, you really want to make sure you're starting in the right place. Now, today, I'm actually going to be showing you a real VIP day I did for Beach Reads and Bubbly, which is like a romance themed book blog and library of reviews. It's such a cool project by Katie. If you've been following, like she just does really cool stuff. But here's what we did. We made a mood board for her. I don't know why I closed that early. I shouldn't have done that. But design styles. Design styles are the intentional aesthetic approaches or visual languages that convey a brand identity. Essentially, these are like the vibes. All of these things can be part of a design style. Your fonts, your colors, your imagery, your filters. These are some common ones. Now you can literally just like type in a concept in Pinterest and be like pastel brands, and like that's its own design style. So you can kind of go with more bold generic ones, or you can go with like really, really specific, like eclectic grandpa, things like that, like things that are Pinterest themes of the year. They always come up with one at the end of the year. If you want a tool for helping you make your mood boards, we do have a tool for that. This is like a soft launch of it. We have not hard launched it, but we have a tool called the Mood Board Maker where you can upload your images and build mood boards really easily. Now you can totally use like free tools to make these, but with the Mood Board Maker, we wanted it to be able to store your mood boards really, really easily and make it easy to like drag and drop and move things around. Oh, I already have that one. I am still waking up. Okay, so like let's pretend that these are the images that I pulled from my mood board, but I want to play around with like different shapes or different layouts or different styles. So I can do this just depending on what's good for the project. I can adjust the border color, which I really love, the border width, and I can save it to my account. So I can say like Beach Reads 2025 and save it. And then I have a spot where all my mood boards are actually saved to my account. So I can go in here and see all these past mood boards. And if I make changes to this, it will stay updated and update automatically. And then I can download things as PNG or PDF. So having a good solid mood board maker is great, especially if you want to maybe present a few different options. Like maybe you want to present this more romantic style to a client, or like this more Southwestern chic style. You can have multiple mood boards in here. So that is kind of step number one, is either making Pinterest boards or mood boards to show your client. Now, oh yeah, and Chris can share the link to the mood board maker, but we also have a VIP day like bundle that we're going to show at the end. So there's like a special little bundle that we made for you guys too. Now in hour number 3, after I've made the mood board, checked in with a client, figured out whether or not they love the direction we're going in, then I'm going to make a word mark logo. And a logo, I think, is something that can super intimidate people and make them feel like, oh, this has to take weeks. It has to be the most clever, cheeky, complicated logo. It does not. It absolutely does not. My logo is literally my brand font in different colors. And it's completely fine. It has not been a problem. But to make a wordmark logo and a favicon, you want to choose a logo direction. So you want to decide if you want to go with like a badge or a word mark or an emblem. You want to choose a logo font. You want to customize your logo in some way. And then you want to add any extra design elements if that makes sense for you. So like this is the Beach Reads and Bubbly logo. These are some basic ways to customize a wordmark logo, but I'll share a workshop called like how to make a logo in 1 hour that covers a lot of this more in depth. But like these are some simple ways that you can customize a logo just by using like fonts, just combining different typefaces. You can mix and match typefaces. You can adjust spacing, so you can compress them or make the spacing wider. You can use ligatures. You can combine 2 or more letters into a single glyph or let the letters flow into each other. This is a really fun look. You can add texture. You can add a grunge or a wood grain or metallic effect to your logo. You can adjust the strokes. You can make things thicker or more weighty or more bold. And you can move letters around. This is a really fun way to like bounce things around and customize them a bit. And you can adjust colors. That's literally what I did. Like, I'll show you my website so you can see my logo. Let's see, like that's just my brand font, and I've changed the colors of my logo, and it's worked. It has not held me back. So I like to say that there is no rule that you have to customize a wordmark logo like at all. You can literally just type out your brand name, choose a font that matches your brand vibe, and use that as a wordmark logo. I like to do some slight customizations, especially if it's for a client project, but like it is not absolutely make or break that you like fully customize it or fully draw every element in the logo, especially during a VIP day. Next, you want to, in hour 4, and by the way, the client has not seen the logo yet. Okay, so we made the logo, we made the favicon. Now we're going to talk about color palettes and font pairings. Okay, someone was asking about softwares for logos. For logo design, I do Adobe Illustrator or Figma. That's what I prefer for logo design. If you don't want to have a full-blown Adobe account, I think Figma is a really great alternative, and you can still customize a lot of stuff. If you want to be super custom-y, then Adobe Illustrator is just going to be like your best friend. And Abby Connick, yes, I have actually been talking with Abby recently, and we have been chatting about some stuff. And she has great videos about like why she redesigns logos, especially like her own past work. It's super cool. She's such an inspiration. Okay, hour number 4, client has not seen the logos. I start then on the color palette and font pairings. So I develop a cohesive color palette that complements the logo, and I choose a heading font, a subheading font, and a body font. So for this client, like this was the color palette and some of the fonts we used. And you might be thinking, what comes first, the fonts or the color palettes? Well, typically what I say is that you choose a design style, so like a mood board or a vibe, and then from there you build your color palette and you choose your font pairings. I tend to do colors first because I love playing with color. So I think I'm just naturally more excited to do color, but you can literally do whichever one feels better for your process. The way I explain these is that your color palettes are like the film set and your fonts are like the characters in a movie. So like they should make sense. They should go together. So like Grand Budapest Hotel, such a beautiful movie. We just rewatched it like a couple weekends ago. You've got your film set here and your characters. Like they look like they belong together. The costumes, the aesthetics, the makeup, hair, all of that looks like it goes together. If we were to put Voldemort in the Grand Budapest Hotel, it would look so random and awkward and like it didn't make any sense. So think of your color palettes as the set and your font pairings as the characters or the voices. They should make sense. They should go together. So we're going to start with color palettes. When you're building your brand color palette, you want to have a range of light and dark colors. This is a topic I cover so much on our social media. You want to make sure that the palette matches the brand personality and design style. And you really want to make sure that it attracts the brand's ideal clients. So going back to that client homework, who are their ideal clients? Are they millennial romance readers or are they new parents? There's so many different types of audiences. So you want to make sure that your colors are really speaking to that. So how do we go from design styles to color palettes? Well, one way you could do that is by freestyling. That's where you build a custom mood board and then you use an eyedropper tool and you pull out colors and you assemble your palette from scratch. This can take, I don't know, 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the tools you're using. So first you kind of assemble images for a custom mood board. And then you use the eyedropper tool to pull out colors and have a range of light and dark colors from that mood board. It totally works. You could also use smart color formulas. Now you can use a curated recipe of colors that help you make palettes that match the design style and have guaranteed accessibility. This takes minutes, and tools like this saved me so much time when I was doing VIP days. So for this client, we definitely wanted to go with like a modern romantic vibe. Oops, went back. So for the modern romantic vibe, we knew that this was the formula for it. So we had light neutrals, we had bold colors, and we had dark neutrals. And the bold colors for this style are very different than like the bold colors we would use for like a rugged fisherman style. So when we did this and we followed this formula, it's super easy to get a color palette that matches this vibe. And this is like our hero tool. This is the tool that we made specifically to help designers save time with their color palettes. Color Palette Pro just got a massive update. So I'm just going to show you how I would have made a color palette for this client in like minutes. I can upload my custom mood board here in the DIY style if I want, but I'm actually going to choose design styles and I'm going to scroll through all these different design styles until I find one that fits. I really like choosing, or I like showing these to clients during my kickoff call and just seeing like what vibes they connect with. I think this is a really cool thing to do, to be like, do you connect with the Bauhaus style, modern romantic? But in this case, it was definitely modern romantic. And each of these styles comes with its own Pinterest board. So you can actually open this up and scroll through different pins that match this style, which is really helpful for like assembling your own mood boards or seeing what vibe they like. And you can view more design style details in here. So like what famous brands use this style. So you can kind of go like, okay, let's look at the Victoria's Secret website. What do you like about this? What don't you like about it? And then you've got your color palette formula here. And you can just select your colors by hand, or you can do what I do, which is set a palette size and then click generate palette and it will just generate random palettes for you. So like you can say, I want 9 colors or 10 colors or what have you, and it will just generate. And if you see stuff that you like I really like this vibe, you can just have it keep generating and keep your locked colors. So this is just a tool that can save so much time. I love playing with this live with clients on a call in the beginning of the kickoff session, just to see like what color styles they like, what vibes they like. And it's got a built-in color palette tester, and you can save and export your palettes. We're going to come back to that. But if you want a tool that will help you make color palettes and test them for contrast really quickly so that you know that they're actually usable, Color Palette Pro is like the tool. And now we're going to talk about font pairings. Now, when it comes to font pairings, we want to, let me pull this back up, and I am going to go a little over, guys. I'm almost through the slides, but it's probably going to be like 15 minutes over. I'm sorry. I'm a chatty Cathy. Okay, so when we are going over our fonts, I like to think of them as like web fonts. So I like to have a couple fonts as a heading font. I like to choose one font as a subheading, and then I like to choose a body font and an accent font. I don't always choose an accent font, but I like to give myself the flexibility to do that. Now, for this particular client, Beach Reads and Bubbly, here was the font menu that we put together. We used, I think this is perfectly 90s for the headings. We did an italic version for their heading 3 and an all caps version for heading 4. We went with a very basic body font, and then we had this fun accent font here, this like scripty one. I want to say this is Luminaire. But how do you actually go from choosing a design style to using font pairings? One way you could do it is by searching font style. So you could literally search in like Creative Market or something for, serif fonts, sans serif fonts, handwritten scripts. Or you can do by font descriptors. I like to do this because I think it better matches the projects. So if you've created a mood board or a design style like Eclectic Grandpa or something, or I don't know, retro punk, you can search for fonts that match that style on Creative Market or Etsy. And so here are some like vintage fonts, romantic, psychedelic, Art Deco. We have a kit called the Font Pairing Kit that does a lot of this homework for you. And someone asked where we get fonts from. I like Creative Market. Envato Elements has a ton, and Etsy, but I tend to vibe with Creative Market or directly from the font or the typeface creator. So like Jen Wagner, if I use her fonts all the time in projects. She has her own site where you can like go to her site, preview fonts, play with them, test them out, and it's really, really awesome. Okay, so for the font pairing kit, here's how it works. In step 1, you can choose a design style. So it's got this like Notion dashboard. And it will actually show you all these different design styles. So again, this is another great thing to show clients in your kickoff call is like, okay, I'm going to scroll through these different design styles. Are there any vibes that you're really liking? And each one of these vibes has a description of the art of the design style, some of the visual elements we tend to see associated with it, some of the values that brands like this associate with. So in this particular client's case, we would have probably landed on Modern Romantic because she would have seen this and been like, yes, that's absolutely the style I want to go with. And then once you know your design style, you can choose a heading font. So you can click in step 2 and actually select the one you want. So like if we're going with Modern Romantic, we can pull that up here. And it's going to dive even further into the types of fonts that we associate with that style. So like elegant serifs or scripts or handwrittens. And I really like that it comes with this set of keywords. So you can actually like drop any of these keywords into Creative Market. So like if I'm on Creative Market, let me pull this up. I'm on the Creative Market page. And I just type in like Modern Romantic. I'm just going to search all categories, but I could also specify by fonts. It's going to show me like specifically fonts that sort of feel like this vibe. So that's really helpful. This list of keywords is great for searching for illustrations or fonts. And then it has a list of free fonts and premium fonts that you can use for your project. So it's kind of like a source database of fonts that match that design style. So if your client sees this, or if you see this and you're like, oh, this would be perfect for this project, you just have this database here of heading fonts that you can use that match the Modern Romantic design style. And that is in all of the design styles. So like neutral and minimal has its own series of fonts that tend to match that vibe. Okay, someone asked, what do you recommend when your vibe doesn't quite fit with one of the presets? I try to get something somewhat close, and if it doesn't match with one of the presets, then I will take whatever the vibe is, like I'll try to come up with a name for it, like retro punk. and just search in Creative Market for retro punk fonts and see what it can come up with. But typically, like if it was a retro punk vibe, I would go with like Vaporwave, which is a very similar style and has like a lot of retro punk style stuff. Okay, moving. Okay, so then after I have selected the color palette, picked a couple fonts, and set a font hierarchy, which I dive way more into in my font workshop. I wish I had time to get into that more, but I've basically created a font hierarchy and I've created a color palette for the client. Then I will start to create mock-ups, and then I will think about presenting things to the client. So usually at this point, I'll take a little mental breather. A rule that I have for myself, you don't have to follow this, but I order Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever for every VIP day for myself. I don't bill it to the client. Like I just treat myself to it and count it as like part of my cost of goods for the VIP day. But I always have my lunch delivered. It's like such a simple thing, but it saves me time. It keeps me on track, and I just eat at my desk. And sometimes I'll tell the client, like at the beginning of the day, hey, I'm going to be eating at my desk today. Like my butt is going to be here. I'm going to get my coffee delivered. I'm going to have my lunch delivered, and I'm in it to like get this done today. And the clients usually love it. And sometimes clients offer to pay for it, which is really nice, but I never expect them to. Okay, so at this point, you can take a little breather. And then I like to put the assets that I've created into a mock-up tool to show the clients what everything will look like. And then I tell the client, hey, I've got stuff ready for you. Let's take a look. So let's talk about the mock-ups, because these things I think really help your clients like fall in love with where you're going. It's an easy way for your clients to visualize what the brand will actually look like. So here's, sorry, Courtney said, I always send my clients a Starbucks or coffee shop gift card on their VIP day. I love that. That's really cool. I have bought lunch for my clients before, but a Starbucks, like that's a really smart way to kick off the day. That's cute. Classy move, Courtney. Oh man, that's a really good one. Okay, so this is a social media mock-up that will help the client visualize what everything looks like. I will make a couple mock-ups, like a website mock-up or a social media mock-up, and just kind of show them like this is the color palette I'm thinking, and here's how I envision it being used. One, this will help your client like visualize it and fall in love with it. And two, it will take what you've created on like a flat surface, like the fonts and the colors, and bring them to life. And these mock-ups are just a total game changer. Now, because I was suffering this problem of like needing to make mock-ups, Chris spent most of last year making a tool called the Brand Visualizer, and I'm going to show you how easy it is. So this is the Brand Visualizer. I've started a new blank project, and here's what I can do. I can literally search for fonts. So I'm going to choose Perfectly 90s as our heading font. I'm going to choose Perfectly 90s Italic for our subheading font. DM Mono for our DM. No, actually, I don't have that on this system. What's a sans font? We'll just go with Essential Sans. These are all Jen Wagner fonts so far, by the way. And Luminaire script is our accent. I can change the sizing. I can make things look different ways. And then if I've created their color palette in Color Palette Pro, which I have for this client, I can actually go to export and then grab this little bit of code right here, this Copy Studio code, and I can put that in right here, and it will import all the brand colors. Did you see how magical that was? You know how much time that saves me? So then I could go through and I can be like, oh, okay, well, here's what it would look like with a light and airy style. Here's what it would look like with a more bright and vibrant style. Oh, I really like that red and pink. That's super cute. Or like a dark vibe. And I can play around with these, and there are lots of different mock-ups. So I've actually put together, I spent like 10 minutes doing this a couple days ago. I am not going to make you watch me assemble it together, but I made some mock-ups. So I made this one, which is like a website mockup, which is the one that I used in the slides for today's workshop. And I actually added in like her logo, and I changed the copy, and I updated the copy on the website and added in some images for her social media. And so this is what I wanted her to be able to see, to like visualize how the brand came together. And I also selected like this one, which is the Instagram one. So I could kind of show her like what her feed would look like. And I could literally show her like, okay, if we wanted to, we could go with like a more bright style or maybe light and airy. And so I just show her different ways to use the colors. So mockups can save you so much time. You can make your own mockup templates too in like Canva if you want. That's a totally free and well, not totally free, but that's an option. But the brand visualizer is a tool that's meant to be able to create these mockups, save them, quickly export them. And like these guys took me less than 10 minutes to create and add to my presentation. And they just really help the client see where we're going. Okay. And then in hour 6, we are going to be on the call with the client. We're going to show them everything we've made. So we're going to show them the logos that we've made, the color palette and the fonts and the mockups, hopefully. And then we're going to say, how do you feel? We're probably feeling like a little tired at this point. So it's important to keep the energy really high. But we want to give them 2 options. Do we want to start a new design concept? Like if you're not vibing with this, now is absolutely the time to tell me. Or do we want to create more assets for this current concept? Like if you like it, we're going to keep going and I can make more stuff for you. And here's where you kind of really hold your breath and hope that they love what you've done. My pro tip is that you want to keep the client involved from here on out for the rest of the day. If they did not like what you created, yes, that is a bummer. But what you can do is you can say, okay, what don't you like? Because maybe you don't have to scrap all the work that you've done. Maybe it's just like 1 or 2 things. So if they want to go in a totally new direction, ask them, what do you like? What don't you like? And remind them that you only have a few hours left in the VIP day. So like you have to decide kind of quickly. Some questions that you can ask them are, what parts of this current concept do you not like? Does changing the color palette feel differently? Like you can pull up a tool like the Color Palette Pro and actually show them like what the entire concept would look like with a different color palette. And that might totally change their vibe. And you can ask them, how does the concept make you feel? And how do you want to feel instead? Okay, I'm seeing some questions in the chat. So you don't show them anything until the 6th hour. That's not necessarily true. I am checking in with them at like hour 2 or 3 on the mood board and vibe. And sometimes if they're really, if I'm feeling it or if they're feeling it, I will show them the logo concepts after I have those done. But I find that once I add in the color palettes, the fonts, and bring everything in with a mock-up, they fall in love with it a lot more. So like it's harder to get them to fall in love with like a black and white logo than it is to show them the full kit and caboodle. And if we've nailed the design style or the vibe on the front end, I feel confident that I can create everything else. So it's up to you. If you feel like really anxious about not showing them things along the way, you can just pop on a call with them like, okay, at the 5:00 mark of every hour, like at 12:50, at 1:50, we're just going to hop on a call and check in. But usually I wait. I wait and show them once I've got logos, color palettes, fonts, and some sort of mock-up. I think it just helps it sell a lot better. Yeah, they do. Sophia's right. They sometimes struggle to visualize it. And I do typically only show 1 logo concept. Sometimes I might have like an alternative or 2. But like I'm going to show you guys. Oh gosh, this is such a risk doing this on a live call. Oh no, it's the right board. Okay. I will literally have my design board pulled up. So this is the design board from this client's project. And like I will have them like I'll play around and tinker with them on the call. So I'll screen share with them and be like, okay, here's what I'm working on, here's where we're at. And just sort of play with different versions or options. Like for this particular client, one of the color palettes we were testing was like this one. We played around with this, we played around with this, and then we played around with this. So it really depends on the client, but don't be afraid to like let them see the quick and dirty work. Okay. And If they like the current concept, then you pat yourself on the back and you're like, yes, I'm a creative genius. I'm so good at what I do. Then it's full steam ahead and you can be like, yeah, that's great. Of course you like the concept. It's amazing. So then I asked them, what would be most helpful for me to create from this point going forward? So like, do you want me to make you email signatures, patterns, illustrations, Instagram story templates? I like to check in with them and see like what stuff should I focus the rest of my time on? Because at this point, I've got like an hour or two to make some bonus resources. And if you're doing that, then you want to utilize templates and assets. You do not need to make everything from scratch. Do not feel like you have to make all your own custom illustrations or patterns or anything. Like you can use the keywords that we found in the font pairing kit, these keywords, and you can just add in like illustrations or patterns or gradients and look up assets to use. That I always budget a little bit of my VIP day budget to be able to buy these things and then customize them. This is just going to save you so much time and take a lot of pressure off your shoulders. And tips for using graphics. I won't go through all of these, but you can use descriptive adjectives like I just showed you, like psychedelic icons or something. You're going to want to check licensing. Creative Market usually has really good licensing terms. I think you want to choose like a commercial license for most client projects. You want to combine keywords. So you can say like psychedelic pink graphics or psychedelic pink gradients or something, and you can stack your keywords to really customize them for your client project. And then look for bundles. Bundles are amazing. I find some of my most helpful stuff. And then if you get a really good bundle, everything kind of comes together and looks like it matches. And I've never had a client be upset, by the way, that I use like a template or something. I'm always very open about that. And I'll be like, if I get this template and then customize it for you, it's going to save you so much time and money because a client isn't going to want to go out and get that template and do those customizations themselves. Someone's asking, are purchasing assets part of your pricing? I typically buy the like illustrations and things like that I'm designing and customizing, especially if I'm customizing it before I hand it over to the client. So I will buy it. I've never had it be a huge issue. I think I usually earmark like $100 for assets, like illustrations, things like that. I do not buy fonts for them. If I get a font, I will buy it for myself so that I can design in the font. And then I tell the client, you have to purchase your own font license. Okay. Okay, so then in hour 7, I do another quick feedback check with the client. So I will check in with them and be like, okay, are we still loving this? How do we feel about it now that we see the patterns and the illustrations and the email signature, whatever I've been able to do in that last hour. And I'll ask them if they have any final notes before I package everything up into brand guidelines. And this should really only take 15 to 30 minutes. This call should not take long, especially if they've like really been vibing with what you've created. And then last, I will do the brand guidelines and final delivery. Now, I have an entire workshop on this. I would love to get into this further, but I don't want to take up any more of your precious time. But essentially, your brand guidelines do not need to take 8 to 12 hours. You can get them done in under an hour. And so I will compile all the elements into a concise brand guideline document. I'll include usage instructions and do's and don'ts, and I will export all the final files and create a folder for the client and just send everything over to it. I try to get this done in the VIP day. When I first started, this is the kind of thing I would do the whole next day. So I would literally give myself an entire business day to put together the brand guidelines. And then we made the brand guideline builder. And I was like, oh, yeah, that absolutely should not have taken me a full day. It can be way easier. So we made a tool to make that part easier called the brand guideline builder. Essentially, the way it works is you have all of these page templates and you can update them in the front end. So, like, I'll show you all the pages. You've got all these different page templates here. So this is what it looks like before you edit. And then in the beginning of the doc, you can update the colors. So like for this client, I'm just going to do this one. So I'll just select a color and then click change all, and it will change all the colors in the doc. So I will just do this based on what I made in Color Palette Pro. I'm doing a totally different palette because I want to just get through this. So I'll do that. And then I will go through and use this. Yeah, if you do this manually, this should save you so much time. Then I'll update the color name. So what we do is we use the find and replace, and we use this little bit of code here. So it says color name 1. So I'd call this like beige, and then click replace all, and then do color name 2, and then call this like bubble gum, something like that, and then click replace all. And then I can do the same thing for fonts. So I can update these fonts to be whatever it is for this project. So for this one, I'm just going to pick something kind of funky. We're going to go with Canela, not funky, but different. And then we click change all, and it's going to update all the fonts. We're going to choose the accent font, change it to Brittany, change all. So now when I zoom out and I look at everything, it's updated. It's updated all the fonts, all the color names, all the color codes. I know, not Brittany. I have a real tough relationship with Brittany. I cannot believe I picked that. That should show the state of my pregnancy brain that I picked that. But here's how the beach reads and bubbly brain guidelines template looked. I did this in literally 10 minutes the other day. I just updated all the colors, the codes, the fonts, and then I put them all together into the brand guidelines template. And here's what we were able to make in 10 minutes. I just dropped in the logos, dropped in the horizontal logos, added in the color palette, the color codes, and you can see it's giving her instructions. This is all included in here. So it's telling her how to use the colors, how to use the different color codes. I'm seeing some folks who have this who are saying really nice things about it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's got a color formula, so she knows how to use it. Approved color pairings, color range, so like all the different variations of her colors, and her fonts, and how to use them. So your brand guidelines do not have to take forever and a day to make. They can be very, very easy, and that's why we made the brand guideline builder. Okay, I'm gonna get through this. So upsells and future projects. A VIP day does not have to be a one and done affair. It's not just like, okay, I met you, client, I designed your brand in a day, peace out, go be somewhere else. A VIP day is really just like the start of the relationship. And I love doing bonus VIP days. So whether we talk about doing this on the front end, like booking a 2 to 3 VIP day session for the client, or we finish the VIP day and then I want to send them additional stuff that we can work on, you can absolutely pitch bonus VIP days. And usually if they've loved the experience of working with you, they're gonna want to do more. So here's a huge perk. This client's already seen how quickly you can turn things around, and you gave them a very easy win. You made them feel like you heard them, you saw them, you created something for them. So they're gonna want more of that magic. So here are some bonus VIP days that I offered. And I think I did most of these for Beach Reads and Bubbly. So email marketing, adding their assets to an email marketing system. So like, here's my to-do list for an email marketing day. Like I will set up their email marketing system. I tend to recommend Flowdesk. I will create a custom newsletter template. I will make a lead magnet template of some kind for them. And I'll usually specify like how big that can be or how complex it can be. I will do their lead magnet automation and workflow setup. I will create a custom sign-up form and add it to their website. So if you're good at the technical stuff, this is a really good VIP day to offer because you can add your design style or your design skills and the technical side of things. You can also offer social media graphics as a bonus VIP or a half day. So you can make custom story templates, carousel templates, highlight covers, YouTube cover graphics, profile pictures. Like there's so much that you can do. And then website design. Now you don't have to do this. If web design is like not in your wheelhouse, don't feel like you have to, but I like to offer it because I learned design through designing websites. So I will say like, okay, I can do a homepage and I can do these sections of a homepage for you. And I work just in a very similar way where I'm like, okay, for the first half of the day, I'm going to be designing, then we're going to do a check-in, and then I'm going to tweak or add extra pages or add this code to your website. So you can offer what your skills are. Now, you don't have to offer bonus VIP days, but I mean, there's fruit to pick there. Like it worked well for me. I recommend it. Do I offer different pricing for different types of VIP days? No, that's kind of the huge perk of VIP days is that it's just based on half day or full day. So if I feel like the work would take me a full day, it's my full day rate. And if it's a half day, then it's my half day rate. So it takes away all the like stress of thinking about that. I will say I tend to offer my repeat clients a discount on future VIP days. So I'll usually give them like a 10% discount on future days. So like, hey, we already did a VIP day today. You get 10% off my half days and my full days in the future. You don't need to do that. Honestly, you don't need to discount yourself ever, but sometimes I've done it. Sometimes I haven't. If it was a client that I maybe didn't really want to work with in the future, maybe I didn't. I bet I can't think of any that come to mind, but like you can always offer a discount for future VIP days. Wouldn't it devalue the website projects? I don't think so. I think if you can design a single page in a day, then you can charge your day rate to design and develop that single page. So if there's a service that you offer and you know that you can get it done generally in a set time frame, I don't think that's devaluing it at all. I think it's just way simplifying the process for you and the client. And we have a package for you to make things easier. So we put together a VIP day bundle, which is literally like all the tools and techniques that you need to develop a full brand identity in one day. So it's our hero tool, which is Color Palette Pro, and then all the bonus tools I showed you today. So that mood board maker, the font pairing kit, the brand visualizer, and the brand guideline builder. All of these tools bundled together. Massive discount. It is $289 for all of these. Now, the original price is $449, so you're saving $160 on getting them all together and just getting the full kit that will help you build these brands in one day and not feel super stressed about it. Like I said, I do the brand in the box emails for our email list about once a week, and they take me about 2 hours. And I make a website design with them, which is like an extra step. So it is entirely possible to get all of these things done. Chris is going to drop the link in here. And Jamie asked a great question. What if you have some already? So the discount for this bundle is going to automatically be added to your cart. Now, if you already have Color Palette Pro, we have a special code for you where you can get these tools at the discounted rate. You can use the code Bundle Upgrade 2025, and that's going to give you the same discount. But the only caveat is that you have to have already purchased Color Palette Pro, and you have to use the same email to check out that you used for that. So yeah, we wanted you to be able to access this bundle. This year is feeling really weird. And if you are feeling weird, or if you feel like your clients' budgets are way different than you expected, or things are drying up, I would absolutely recommend pitching VIP days. I'm actually just going to go back here and let's just talk about your questions. We wanted to make sure that you had a kit of resources and some techniques to offer VIP days that make it feel like doable. Okay, if you have everything except the mood board tool, then use that code that Chris sent, that bundle upgrade 2025, and then you can get the mood board tool at the bundle price. Someone asked, you said 4,000 for a full day, 2,200 for a half day. What would a usual full project be approximately? A full project, it just really depends on the project, but for brand design, I would say at least 3 weeks, maybe 6 weeks. And I found personally that when I offered long-term projects, one of the biggest issues for me was that because I had been working with the client so long, it was I'm having such pregnancy brain. You were asking how much I charged for it, not how long it took me. Okay, so I would charge anywhere from $5,000 to $11,000 for a long-term project like that. And when I would offer these long-term projects. I had been working with the client so much and there was so much back and forth that I felt like everything I presented that to them had to be super polished and fancy. So like when I presented them logo concepts, I had to have them in these really fancy mock-ups. And with the VIP days, I tend to just go a little bit more casual and like I'm not afraid to show them my working board and like work with them in real time and be like, okay, you like this font, but what if we tried something like this font instead? And so, like, just really being more collaborative with them and being a little bit more casual worked really well for me and my clients. The discount is valid through midnight next Tuesday. We wanted to give you through the holiday weekend if you celebrate. So, we are going to make this through midnight next Tuesday. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The value is clear. Buying now and writing it off later. Thank you, Leah. It is tax week, so that is a really good point. um, okay, is there a link for the mood board builder on its own? Chris can send that out. And yes, you are absolutely able to just get Color Palette Pro. Natasha. Oh, Natasha, I'm so glad you're in here. Natasha emailed earlier this week and she saw something in one of our tools and she was like, hey, I think maybe this is a tiny little bug. And I sent it over to Chris and he fixed it really quickly. And it was just a great example of like how we are really just a two-person small business. And if you ever see anything with our tools that you want to be a little different, or if you find a bug, you can just let us know and we will fix it and make sure that it's working for you. We love what we do. Okay. Yeah, the proper way, Cassie made a great point. Like more casual and authentic feels good because the proper way hasn't been working out. I started out doing the proper way. Like I was a self-taught graphic designer on TikTok and Instagram. I was just learning as I went and I was kind of copying like systems that I saw other people doing. So I was like, oh, they're like everyone was trying to make like 10K months or get 10K projects. And so I was like, oh, that's what I should be working for. And it just did not work for me. Like I didn't enjoy it. I felt so drained energetically from doing long-term projects. And so when I started doing VIP days, it was like this promised land of like, oh, this is how my brain works and this is what my clients like. I'm allowed to do this. It's totally okay. Uh oh my goodness. Okay. The code is not working. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Let me try to show you. So if you are like, I know I have Color Palette Pro. So I'm going to just add font pairing kit to my cart. And then I'm going to click checkout. For some reason, this affiliate code is hanging out in here. So I think the code is bundle upgrade 2025. So if I click apply, then it should just take off that $40. But I have to use the same email that is associated with my account. So if I have purchased Color Palette Pro, then it's going to associate it with my account. If you have not purchased Color Palette Pro, then that doesn't work. Okay, it worked for me. Great. Yeah, you do have to yeah, and if you are getting the full bundle, sorry, I should have been a little bit more clear. If you just get the bundle that has all the tools in here, then you can literally just click add to cart and it's going to wipe out anything that was in your cart and then just make sure that you have everything. So your Color Palette Pro, and it's automatically going to add that discount. If you get the bundle, it's automatically adding it in. I really love that some of you are saying you're going to hard launch VIP days. That's so great. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Yeah, if you are trying to stay in the zone for your design clients, I think VIP days are so much better because like the task switching for long projects just isn't worth it, in my opinion. Okay, this is so great. You guys should launch something for slides. That's so nice, Sophia, because I feel like my slides are so basic. Like, if you've watched The Office, you know when Pam Beasley or Pam Halbert is like, I don't know, in season 7. And she's like, at this point, when you're this pregnant, it's kind of like senior spring. I felt a little bit like the slides for this project were like my senioritis spring. Like I put everything I could into the content, and the slide design was kind of last minute, but I'm glad that you liked them. Thank you. Okay. Um, the logo design workshop, Santa, I'm gonna send that out later. Don't you worry. Okay, I'm gonna stop the share because I think we went 30 minutes over. Thank you for hanging out. I'm going to be sending out a ton of stuff later. I'm going to be sending out all the links to the different workshops, the links to the tools and the bundles and everything we talked about. You'll get to be able to watch this replay, watch the slides, read the transcript. So if you just want to like jump to a certain part, you can. And I hope that you found a ton of value in this, because I struggled with offering a VIP day workshop because truthfully, like I think I could spend 8 hours doing like the entire thing, like talking about concepts of VIP days and then each individual part of designing them. But I don't think anyone here maybe wants to spend 8 hours on a Zoom with me. So I tried to cover conceptually what VIP days are, and then like how to pace, which I think is the hardest part. We have not ordered lunch to the house. That's a really good idea. I like that idea. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. I really, type a 1 if this was valuable to you. If you like learned something from this workshop, I would really love to know that. Okay, good. Good. And thank you to Chris for running the chat. Chris, do you have any last words for our workshop?
I love y'all. Thank you so much. If you need anything from me, it's chris@specialoutput.com. Chris@specialoutput.com. If you find any bugs, sometimes there's a bug in there, and sometimes there isn't. But if there is, just let me know. And also, if you have requests. Sam, great job. It was really fun to watch, actually. And some we've been throwing around, probably won't do this before baby gets here, but something we've been throwing around is the possibility of like a community. I saw that was mentioned in the chat quite a bit. Would you all be interested if we did set up some kind of community?
Yeah, I think that would be really fun. We're we've been joking around that like we're taking a little bit of a break for baby leave, and we're definitely going to start like another project when we're in that. Like we already have ideas of businesses or things that we want to start or tools that we want to make.
This
So
baby's going to be such an entrepreneur.
yeah, this kid's gonna get a good bird's eye view. So expect more coming, but thank you for being part of our last pre-kid workshop experience.
We love you all.
Thank you all so much. You have a great day. We're so grateful for you. Bye.